Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. The headline news coming out today comes from Mike McGrath, and it's that Sunderland midfielder Dan Neil is on Everton's short list of transfer targets. However, they could find it difficult to sign him this month. We are currently running a poll on the Toffee Blues Twitter, or have run it at this point, at Everton Newsfeed, and it's Dan Neil at Everton. Leave us your thoughts. 40% have said yes, 49% have said that they don't really know, and 11% have said no completely, and that's with around 1,950 votes. Thank you all for everyone who did vote on that. He's around 23 years old, has played 27 games for Sunderland this season, who are currently on a chase for automatic promotion. Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian also reported that West Ham are tracking Neil, but both faced challenges due to the fact that Sunderland are looking at automatic promotion at this race. They currently value him at around 15 million. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I don't think we should be paying 15 million. I think Neil's a good player. Everything I've seen of him, he looks like a very good player. And yeah, but it's one of those where if you look at the underlying statistics, they look very average, even in the second division. So it's one of those where we'll say that. And if you have a look at his stats in the actual championship, they probably stand out. But of course, places like FB Ref compare it to the European top 5 leagues. But again, 23, plenty of room to grow. He's also currently the captain at Sunderland. So it's one of those where it is very interesting. We'll have to see where it goes. But yeah, I think it's one we should avoid for 15 million. I think there's players of better quality. And even though Neil's young and English, I think defensive midfield isn't somewhere we should be desperate to look at. That should be more somewhere we look at in the summer, when then we should be looking to replace someone like an Idrissa, who has probably been arguably our best season who has arguably been one of our best players this season. But it's one of those things where at the age he is now, you need to start looking at replacements for the future. Garner seems to get injured a lot, and I can't understand why the club would be looking at other options. Moving on, Everton have confirmed that Alan Irvine has joined David Moyes' backroom staff as assistant manager, and Charlie Adam has joined as set-piece coach. This is Alan Irvine's second stint at the club, I do believe. He was around with Moyes the first time, and I'd like to say welcome back, Alan, and welcome to the other side of Stanley Park, Charlie. Of course, well known, played for his time at Liverpool, but most probably well known by a lot of people for his time at Stoke. Loved a shot from the halfway line, and if I remember correct, was pretty decent on set pieces in those Stoke sides. So yeah, it's nice to have some coaches coming in now. Hopefully now the transfers can start to come in as well. Speaking of, Fabrizio Romano reported that Everton were among clubs who made an approach for 18-year-old forward Tidiam Gomes from French side SM Caen. However, RB Leipzig are closing in on a deal. His numbers look very good. He's only 18 years old. Does only have 2 goals and 2 assists, and I believe he's a winger / attacking midfielder. But it's one of those where the underlying statistics again look very good. Only 18 years old, but got to take that with a pinch of salt considering he's playing in Ligue 2. I think this is one where I'd only really care if we were going to play a really cheap fee. I don't know anything about the player, what he's good at, what he's not. So I can't really say I'm upset about it. But the irritating things comes that this has really been the story of our transfer window. And I might as well mention this from Mike McGrath first, is that Everton showed an interest in signing Arsenal left-back Kieran Tierney this window. The Scot now looks set to sign a pre-contract to join Celtic in the summer on a free transfer. It's the story of the transfer window for us so far. We've been looking at players since the start by the field. That is really picked up since Moyes has come in, and just there's been interest in this player, and a day later, no, there wasn't ever interest in this player, and it's just a constant cycle. And I can imagine it's very frustrating. I'm getting frustrated, and I don't usually tend to get annoyed with transfer stuff. But yeah, hopefully the club can make some transfer things, because I don't think we're completely out of the relegation battle just because Moyes is in. Very good result against Tottenham, but that's a very bad Tottenham side who was struggling to beat bloody Tamworth. So it's one of those where we'll have to see. Hopefully we're not rushing in on deadline day and making a load of signings that we don't need to make and just getting names in through the door for the sake of it. But I trust Moyes, I trust Kevin Farewell, and hopefully we can get some names in by the end of the transfer window on names that are actually going to impact the squad. And the last bit of news comes from Gazzetta dello Sport, and that is that Roma are now eyeing a move for Beto as an alternative option to lead their attacking line. I expected this to come out eventually, to be honest. I've mentioned in a few videos in the past that I expect more interest in Italy in Beto, since it seems like he's a pretty hot commodity over there. I'm not surprised Roma eventually are interested. I don't know how Roma fans feel about this. I know Artem Dovvik has been a bit disappointing this season, but of course it's an interesting one because it may feel to some of them that we're just offloading a player we don't want onto them, and I can understand why that might be frustrating, but I don't think anyone else is going to do the loan with the 17.5 million option. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Roma just end up doing it, and he may do well at Roma for all we know. I think the Italian game might suit him a little bit more, where it's a bit slowed down in a sense, where his pace really stands out more than it does in the Premier League, and his power stands out a little bit more than it does here, since it's much more common for strikers to have those attributes over here. So it's one of those where we'll have to see. And hopefully again some more news comes out or the end of the window, so I'm not just reporting interest, hopefully, and then non-interest in the same report. Hopefully we've actually got some interesting news coming soon. But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow me on Twitter at Callum Brannan3. And I'll see you all for the next video and our live stream that I am on. Goodbye, everyone.